Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and today I wanted to give you guys my first opinions on this brand new uniform for Captain Marvel, which honestly, I gotta say, it looks really cool. However, there is, as you can see, a couple issues going on with the uniform right now. We've had several patches, but unfortunately, as you can see, the eye thing, where when you turn her to the side, her eye is actually not glowing. It just looks like she has like spectacles on, like me, that provides the glow effect. And then you can see when you turn her towards you, her arm actually stops glowing. And when you turn it again, it actually comes back, right? So some issues here with the visuals for the uniform for Captain Marvel. However, I still think the uniform looks pretty cool. Hopefully they go back and they, fix it up just a little bit. Now, in terms of performance, is this a uniform that you need to buy? Short answer is it depends on if you want to have a strong villain version of Captain Marvel. Now, unlike Scarlet Witch, who has not had a villain uniform, Carol has had a villain uniform before. The last Avenger uniform was a villain uniform. It was good at the time that it came out. However, it is no longer relevant in today's meta. So if you want a strong villain version of Captain Marvel, this zombie uniform is actually a good one. As you can see, we have lots of chain hit damage reduction. We got base damage reduction as well, and extra damage dealt to both heroes, villains, and everybody except zombies. That's 55% more damage. This is absolutely busted, okay? Sadly, this is not going to benefit you in the new zombie survival game mode, but this is honestly a stacked uniform bonus. And it pains me to say that although she has all of these amazing effects, plus what she has in the base kit, she didn't get the one thing that I think she needed the most and deserved to have, okay? And that is, say it with me now, penetration. It is so sad to see, man. When I saw Captain Marvel getting this uniform, if you saw my review or reaction rather of the sneak peek and then also the live stream, I was saying for this skill right here, her bread and butter, the skill that does the most damage, the one you proc on, even though you're going to be using her with a rage, that's where you want to basically have the majority of the rage proc be landing. This skill needed to have penetration on it because it opens up the realm of possibilities when it comes to PvP CTPs for her. If you do not have penetration in your kit, you are basically at the mercy of the CTP of destruction. And with that, you need exemplary, like you need beyond God tier survivability. And although Captain Marvel's tier 4 gives her an amazing heal, and she has a heal on her 4th skill, it's just not enough for you to actually use a CTP of destruction and actually be competitive. Competitive, keyword in today's meta. Now, if you're using her for low tier AC stuff, fine. But if you're going into other world battle, team battle arena, the destruction is just not going to cut it. And if you decide, you know what, to stack her survivability with the CTP of Conquest or another CTP that have super guard break immunity, because you need that, right? In today's meta, just regular guard break isn't enough. You need super guard break to prevent you from getting stun locked by the likes of Null, Sentry, Wolverine, etc., right? Then you're not going to have penetration. You're going to basically be punching in the air or punching the opponent, but they have immunity and invincibility up, so you're doing no damage. So you're living longer, but ultimately you're living just to die because you're not going to accomplish anything. It's basically a pitiful existence. Anyways, really sad. So although she has the chain hit damage reduction and a big juicy, as you can see, 40% damage reduction in her kit right here, she's still primarily a PvE character, just one that has iframe ignore in her kit. That's it. So if you were looking for a PvP dominant Captain Marvel, this ain't it. What they honestly need to do at this point, right, is either give her penetration in the kit, or frankly, you know what? Forget giving her penetration in her kit. What they actually need to do, because there's plenty of examples of characters like Captain Marvel that exists, right? Where they have iframe ignore. Shang-Chi's one. They have iframe ignore, but they don't have penetration. And they've been doing this for quite some time, right? They did the same thing, I believe, with Bishop. They did the same thing with Hulkbuster. They did the same thing with like a bunch of characters, bro, right? So what they need to do, and this would actually make them more money, is they need to go back and they need to revamp and redo this CTP. Like, they need to go back and redo the CTP of destruction, because it is the only CTP in the game that gives you penetration, right? And if they're gonna give out a whole bunch, or give out a whole bunch of uniforms, not necessarily that they're giving them away, but create a whole bunch of uniforms and purposefully leave out penetration, then this is an opportunity for them to make a shit ton of money on an old CTP. So go back, right? Redo the reforge option, and instead of strike and all attack and all defense, you need to create something else, right? Or just get rid of the all attack and all defense and create, you know, like, I don't know, like a mega strike or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And just add the all attack and all defense plus super guard break immunity in there, just like you do with the ambush proc for CTP of greed and other CTPs, right? That give you like hidden effects like reflect protection that's not listed. Like, they need to do something with the CTP of destruction, because that would fix a lot of characters. It wouldn't be perfect, right? But it would give them a fighting chance. Characters like Captain Marvel and several others. And we wouldn't just constantly be saying, skip over these characters, or they're just not that good because they don't have penetration. Because then we'd have an actual up-to-date CTP that can kind of buff them, right? So where we are right now, unfortunately, Captain Marvel is still PvE. What we're going to do today, though, is compare her with the zombie uniform to the hero one and see what the gap looks like for those of you guys like me who have this uniform and maybe you don't care about the fact that she's becoming a villain, and you want to see if this one is still, you know, better, like as a damage dealer with survivability and all that good stuff. Now, I know there is this hate out there for Captain Marvel, right, saying she's not that great. Captain Marvel is actually one of the best tier 4s in the game. You can say I'm glazing her, but like, bro, like, I don't just tier 4 bad characters, right? Like, if I have a tier 4 Captain Marvel that I use regularly, right, that I actually have a good build on, like if I thought she was trash, right, and I was just, you know, doing it for the content, she should have gotten stripped a long time ago, right? But I use her on a regular basis. I have a very good build on her because she's actually legitimately underrated. I think a lot of the people who say she's not good just don't have her at tier 4, right? And they're judging her level 80 performance and then saying, all right, it doesn't seem that good. But trust me, at level 80, she's okay because her survivability is kind of mediocre. But once you fix the survivability for her with the healing that she gets from her tier 4, she becomes exponentially better. Okay? But anyways, that's just me. Okay? You can go back and check my content on this channel. I'm not a Captain Marvel glazer. I'm not a what's it called? A Brie Larson clip writer. I just think she's good, bro. Anyways, man, let me take her into some content and show y'all the difference, okay? We're going to go against Thanos, okay? And right here on stage 20 against Thanos is where I use stage 24, but whatever. We'll just do 20 just so we can be faster, right? This is where I use Captain Marvel all the time, right? I generally use a team like this. The rotation for her, pretty much staying the same, to be honest. The accumulation is still on the 5th and you're still proccing on the 4. For me, I like to throw in the 1 and 2, right? And then you gotta let the 3rd skill play out. So 5, let me just take it in here and show you guys real quickly, so that once you get started and gets pretty chaotic, you can understand what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna go 5, Then I'm just go 2, 1, 3, and then once you see her like power up, then you just jump into your 4, and you're good to go. Okay, that's pretty much how I play her, and I play her the same way with both uniforms. To be honest with you, like this one is pretty much the same thing because the accumulation is in the same space, and you still need to do that like energy thing to make sure you get the extra damage from the third skill. Let's just jump back in. But yeah, you guys can tell me if I'm glazing her. Like, I just like her play style, bro, and she's tanky at tier 4. But yeah, what can I say? Let's do it. All right, big guy. Go 5, 2, 1, 3, 4. And go 2, 1 again. Got caught by the blade twister there, but it's all good, baby. Once the tier 4 starts popping and we start healing, the only ones that can really bring me close to that is the Black Warrior when they come in and just do the purple attack. But what I usually like to do is I wait for them and then use the co-op, and then I usually try to time it with the tier 4, and then I get hit once and then I'm back up. But it's okay because when you're healing 20k a pop, bro, you know what I'm saying? When you're healing 20k a pop, what they gonna do, bro? Like 2 seconds, I'm back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, bro. And that's partially because Captain Marvel has like this insane passive that make it so that buffs and their durations last longer for her, bro. So like, it's actually insane. All right, here we're gonna go ahead and use the co-op again. They can't kill me, bro. They can't. Like, if you want a character that's actually like fun, crazy, strong, easy to play, like, you just drop a rage on Captain Marvel and you good, bro. You good. You know what I'm saying? Alright. Let's see what big guy's gonna do. Okay. Like, even King Thanos can't kill me. Like, he moves around a lot, so sometimes I get dragged out of my fort, but it's okay. Even though that's that shit I don't like. But it's okay. Go ahead and drop that. And once we pop the tier 4, he can't do nothing. He gotta just run around and hope he can catch me slipping. But tier 4's up again. You know, like, if you think Captain Marvel sucks, bro, like, you suck. You suck. Go ahead and just pop that co-op there again. Yeah, I try to throw in as many 2s and 1s as possible just so that the tier 4 is up as often as possible. And then the co-op is in the mix just in case they catch me slipping or I feel like being extra crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally like Captain Marvel. Now, the only problem that I can see some people having with this uniform for Captain Marvel is that because the buff that she has, hold on. Go ahead and just move there. Like, previously she was getting a buff to supervillains. Now it's giving you a buff to everybody except zombies. And most of the bosses that you're fighting, well, pretty much all the bosses you're fighting for PvE content are villains. It doesn't really do much for her for PvE content. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and just pop that. They thought they had me. Psych! But what this does is that the uniform, that is it makes her a bit more flexible because now you can use her on hero stage and villain stages. Alright, so you're buying it for flexibility and maybe a little bit more power and some survivability as well, because again, you are getting that chain hit damage reduction, which is a big deal. Trust me. Like, if you think chain hit damage reduction is not is not a big deal, look at AV, bro. That's one of the reasons why Null is so toxic. Go ahead and just fine, it's fine, it's fine. Canceled my third there, but it's okay because I had a feeling he was gonna do something like that. So well, keep missing the second skill because he keeps running away. I'm going to get the 5. So you're not going to see like a big difference in their damage or the uniform's damage for PvE content. You're realistically just buying it for flexibility, but you are a little bit tankier because of the chain hit damage reduction. And you go ahead and just finish up here. You can see that there is a difference. Yeah, it's kind of chaotic against Thanos because he moves about so much and there's so much on the map. So let me show you guys another boss as well. Alright, so we're going to run a couple minutes of the fight here against Proxima and Corvus. And one thing that I do want to point out that I don't think I mentioned previously is she is losing her ability to insta-cancel her 5th skill. So that is unfortunate. With the zombie uniform, you have to wait until she stomps, but it's fine because we end up doing boatload of damage with that uniform, so small price to pay. She's already a rage character, that's not going to change with either uniform. So one thing, what the heck is going on? I'm pressing on the 1 and for some reason I can't get it off. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to end up behind and get hit. Yeah, is she gonna move? Okay, there. She's waiting until I pop my tier 3, isn't she? I knew she was waiting, bro. Proxima is a sniper. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I have to respect her because she does that shit so like regularly. It's like if you don't pop your tier 4/tier 3, it's almost like they program her to do that. You know, to just sit there and wait. And then as soon as you do it, you do like a big move that's supposed to give you a burst of damage. She's like, haha, cutscene, bitch. It's actually crazy. Alright, we'll stop. We'll stop it right here. Alright, we'll stop it. 320, 38 bars on the clock. Let's see how much damage we do. And Corvus is pretty good for testing because he's kind of just like a punching bag. He doesn't move erratically or sporadically. Both, whichever one. Alright. As opposed to with Thanos and the Black Order and stuff. Like this should give us a good idea of like how much damage we're gaining. I honestly don't expect to see a big difference for PvE content, which is why I'm saying they should have given her penetration, because since the bosses are all super villain, like she's pretty much going to be doing similarly. That's what I think anyways. We'll take one hit, it's fine. We're in an iframe though, so we solid. Okay. She decided to interrupt me there, so we're at 43. Got about 40 seconds or so left. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like much of a difference, unfortunately. So if you're buying it for more power, yeah, you're not gonna see more power. You're buying it for flexibility. This is exactly what I'm gonna say. You're buying this uniform so that if you like Captain Marvel and you want to also be able to use her for villain content. I don't know why it's freezing up like that, but that's what it's been like ever since the update. But yeah, I think Captain Marvel, her uniform is just for flexibility and maybe a little bit of low tier AC stuff. So if you were okay with this version of Captain Marvel, then yeah, and you don't care about using her as a villain, you can skip this one. Now, if you didn't have a uniform for Captain Marvel, honestly, I would say get this one just because we have plenty of heroes, right? And since Captain Marvel has leadership and she's a universal character, a lot of the stuff that she can do for World Boss, Thor can do too, right? And I think that's part of the reason why people nag on her and say she's not good and stuff is because she's competing with Thor, and Thor is better than her, right? It's just a fact. Now she's human, he's an alien. So if you need a female universal human supervillain, right? Because Wanda is not a human. Keep that in mind. Anyways, ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap it up here. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.